Alright, we're back in action for game 2, and because I think I shouted it out while we played ads. Once again, shout out and thank you to Cabrera for that $5 donation last game. Sorry we couldn't talk about it when I got it, because of course there was so much going on in the game. But, yeah, we find ourselves in game number 2 in this best of 3. This is still the winner's bracket for the IEM Toronto Qualifiers. I also have a wonderfully intelligent Zerg player joining me on the cast today. It is Hendrilisk.
You mean Zombie Grub?
Yeah, Zombie Grub's got a bit of a cold. She sounds a bit funny.
Yeah, my voice is a little off today.
Yo, if you want to sound like Zombie Grub, all you gotta do is start every sentence with like yo and say literally a lot.
Oh my god, I'm noticing that now.
I know, we tease each other about like our catch. Like mine is, I say granted way too much. I'm trying to work that out. But anyways, let's start this intro off. Spotting here in the bottom right corner of the map, he's a red Protoss player with a funny name, Shloopy, but he's better known as Puck.
And spawning in the top left is the Dancing Queen from Acer. It is the Queen of Blades too. Oh my god, so many nicknames. Scarlett.
I think, you know, I think most players you see dancing and it's like BM. I don't know, whenever Scarlett does weird stuff in game, I kind of just see it as playful. I don't know. I don't know Scarlett, I'm not like her best friend.
That's kind of bias right there.
Well, no, but what I mean, like, from a fan point of view, when I see her play Starcraft 2, you know, it looks like she's enjoying it. You see her in the booth, she's having a good time. She always talks about stuff on like interviews for like stages and winter interviews and stuff. Like, I think most of the time you see a player / dance, you're like, wow, they're just being BM.
So they're being spiteful. They're like tackling, like, oh, you're so bad, get out of my game.
For Scarlett, I just gotta see it's like, it's like,
wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. Anyways, in this game, the opener is a little bit different this time for Shloopy here, as he's taking his Nexus before Gateway. So this is pretty much the best economic opener for a Protoss player. Depends what he's going to do next. Is he going to make a Gateway or is he going to make a Forge? We're going to have to see when he goes to the wall-off, which is right now. Now.
It's probably going to... I mean, technically a Forge is safest, but with Puck, yeah, I was going to say Gateway seems like even more in order.
So this wall off, you only need one Zealot to fully wall it off, I think.
Yeah.
Or if not, you can put a core behind it, whatever. So Scarlett's not a player who's going to open a temple, and especially since it is a cross-map spawn, it wouldn't be that effective or if Puck walled off. Anyways, Scarlett's opening for the same opener again, I think, which is the hatch into pool, gasless, of course, and into a fast third maybe. Or if not a fast third, she's going to take it after the queens are out. So this time the third isn't as fast.
Yo, for Puck, there's a lot of openings we talk about for Protoss that come off the back of a Nexus first. You know, of course, all-ins are always something that are on your mind. But personally, I would love to see him go with the Stargate opener on this one. Not for Oracles, but for Phoenix.
What is this? A fast third? You see that probe? It's rallied to the third base and to hold position there.
He doesn't have the money for it though. What's he?
Oh my god, this is like a Stardust opener where you take 5-minute third, let's say.
Just get greedy as hell and caution
but
to the
this
wind.
is on 2 gases. I thought usually if you want to take a third that fast, you only want to be on 1 gas.
Well, let's see if he actually throws that down. Still spending money behind this.
So maybe not. It could be a Stargate opener, as you said.
I mean, my fingers are crossed on it because I do think Puck plays really well off the back of Stargates, but at the same time, if you do open Stargate, you're kind of asking Scholar to do, you know, Corrupt Bermuda, something that you may not want to deal with.
So the timing for Scarlett's third base in this game is at 5 minutes, as opposed to the previous game where she took it at 3:30, let's say, or I think so, yeah. So this time, you know, 90 seconds later, the creep spread is going to be a bit slow in comparison.
If he did want to take that third, there's just like...
Oh, look, the minerals are stockpiling, or they're piling up right now. Oh, there it is. But the Lings are going to see it. No.
They didn't. They didn't.
That was close.
Oh, the Overlord's going to confirm it, though. I think Scarlett saw the probe before leaving.
Okay,
Alright, so she sees the third.
Yeah, so Puck hit the probe where the Overlord was seeing it. It's kind of not good for Puck. Because now Scarlett, she can decide to drop down a Roach-Warren with her Zergling speed and try to punish this fast third. Or actually,
well, you gotta keep in mind too, this isn't like this third's gonna be completely defenseless. I mean, you're gonna have the overcharge. The advantage of having the third down sooner is that you can overcharge it faster. But also, Puck did go with the gateway opener, so it's not like he's relying purely on cannons for defense here. You know, he's gonna have some stuff
but cannons would be what you want versus Zerglings, I think. I mean, you know, the 2 pylon, 1 cannon in the middle, and then gateway. You can't kill that with Zerglings.
Right, but what I've got my eyes on more than that is this Twilight Council. You know, most of the time I'd say Blink, but with the way he's trying to sort of hidden this from the Overlords, I'm kind of thinking this might be for DTs. I mean, it's like 90% chance it's going to be Blink. It's the standard, but it just seems odd to place it over here is all.
Maybe he just wants to hide it, you know, hide as much info as possible. Puck is a player who really likes to go for Blink. So there's the Blink research.
Oh, we got a sub while this is going on, by the way. Just a small shout out to GG Solo. Thanks for that sub, man. Welcome to the family.
So, back home, Scarlett isn't trying to go for a really fast Roachling attack or just mass Zerglings. She's going for the 2 Evos for upgrades on the Zerglings once more, and taking a fast fourth.
And
a
fifth.
fast fifth. Whoa,
Wow.
it's like Foodming or something.
You know, sometimes you respond to greed with greed, right? And that's usually determined within, like, the first natural versus the first third. Not the fourth or the fifth, but... I guess one thing we didn't really talk about was, like, Puck, yeah, he's got the means to defend this third, but he doesn't really have the means to punish her fourth or fifth. She, if there's a macro hatchery, whoa. Hendrilisk, I'm smelling a lot of freaking lings.
Oh, and I'm smelling a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah, this is the problem. They're not going to work so hot versus, I mean, like, okay, the fourth and the fifth is, like, whatever, but it's that macro hatchery that's got me really scared.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so Puck's chrono boosting is Blink non-stop, and he's adding 7 gateways. That's gonna put him at 9 gateways.
He's not gonna have the money for this right away, though.
Oh, 10 gateways.
Actually, will have the money. I take that back. He's actually pretty much saturated this nicely.
Yeah, because Puck opened up with a Nexus gate and took a 530 third. And this is very, very strong macro opener for Protoss.
You gotta consider, too, like, all these areas to engage in. Like, the downside to Nimbus is it is a really wide open engagement no matter where you take it. So, well, Puck does have force fields. There's no way he has enough to, like, really make this a comfortable fight.
Unless he fights at the that little choke below Scarlett's third.
Yeah, maybe, like, down here. Yeah, one ramp. There's one good ramp on this map for Protoss.
He should sneak a probe there to make a Nexus and then recall his Stalkers. That way he could fight there with the Nexus to buffer too.
Sneaking up some pylons, but at home on the defense, has to keep an eye out.
The tricky thing for Scarlett is she has no vision of the main or the natural, so she doesn't know what tech Puck is doing.
But you know what? I think she knows. Like, I mean, like you said, Puck's a player who likes to go Blink. It's standard in the game right now. She's getting an Infestation Pit. We're going to see Fungal Growth lock those Blink Stalkers down. The Lings are just going to swarm.
Yeah, but, you know, as you said, there could have been DTs. There's only one Overseer, so maybe there was some potential for damage.
Right, but I think Scarlett's just taking a gamble, but it's like a safe gamble, you know? It's a predictable gamble.
Just how you play, I suppose.
Yeah.
And the 1-1 is already done. Puck has to recall here when the lanes come in from both sides. After the force fielding, that is. Yeah. Because you can't beat this.
Oh, actually, I like this watchtower. I forgot that's a funnel in here.
Oh, that 16 lanes got trapped in that watchtower.
That's a pretty sick spot to get trapped in. Puck actually makes pretty good use of the situation.
He's got force field though. Yeah, he's got to put another force field or they're gonna get free. Oh, they got free.
So perhaps not realizing just how many you trapped in there. You know, despite this crazy wall, yeah, that recall's still necessary to go back home. Puck took a pretty decent fight, but you know, you're trading out
at once.
Right, but yeah, exactly. Like, you're trading out sentries, stalkers, gas-heavy units for lings. These are cheap. These are expendable. Scarlett's gonna be making thousands of these throughout the game.
Thousands. Well, yeah, seems that way with this little ant on the minimap.
She's kind of just like straight up mono battling right now. I mean, to be honest, it's just been lings and nothing else. We're gonna finally have infestors coming to the fray here momentarily, and with +2 lings and fungal growths to lock this army down. I fear for Puck right now so badly.
Well, the one thing that Scarlett isn't doing as well as last game is the creep spread, but it's still, I think, gonna get past the tower before Puck can make a next big attack. Zerglings are posturing near the base of Puck just to buy time. And, oh my god, the Lings ran through the army. Imagine if Puck actually force fielded them. Like, instantly, they could have all died.
Yeah, cook them up for those Archons. But hold position on the Lings over here. Puck actually manages to evacuate most of the probes, so he doesn't lose too much to this run by. But still kind of scary nonetheless.
Yeah, and after Scarlett saw the Archons and the Zealots, she makes Roaches, since you can't just rely on pure Zerglings alone, especially with no spines so the Roaches are the support.
I feel like taking a fourth is really ballsy. Like, I don't know if he can do this.
Well, Hive is done. It's just right now Scarlett's army is only Roaches and Zerglings, which is pretty crude as far as tech goes. Now here she can choose to fight or run the drones away to the other base and give this base up maybe to get a better position. Oh, but the infestors are out. Or one infestor.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, these have finally got the path stream lines upgrade, so it starts becoming more of an option for her to deal with the blink stalkers and such. But Puck does have to be careful.
Yes.
Force fields, where are you? Force fields, where are you?
One fungal in the middle. That's good.
I don't think this is a good fight. Can he recall? Where's the mothership core? Oh my god, the mothership core is nowhere near the army.
But the Lings are already... They're actually fighting the Zerglings. They're fighting the Zealots and the Archons. So the majority of the Lings already died off. So now they're only Roaches versus Stalkers. So the Stalkers are going to be able to kill the Roaches. No question.
Oh wow, yeah, the Roaches, I forgot, have no upgrades. Because of course she's been investing in melee this whole time.
Yeah, usually if you're going for the Ultra Stall, you don't need range. The Roaches are just there to buffer and make sure you don't get hard countered by what Puck is doing. So Puck will get this base, that's for sure. Scarlett's actually going to contest for it right away. No, it's just poking at it, saying there's too much, so you have to back off.
Yo, this is one of those situations where I'd love for Puck to like blink 4 stalkers from here to the natural, but I don't think he can afford to do that. He needs every stalker in the army. Harass isn't really the option right now.
Neutralists are slowly being made right now. Both players are macroing really well. They're spending all their money. They're not floating 5,000 minerals. They're using it to make army units. Puck's army is pretty scary considering it's only gateway army. Because right now Scarlett is stuck with having Roachling for the majority part of this army. Well,
good. Good time warp mixing with those force fields. That catches the majority of the Roaches and the Queen.
But Roaches are flipping out. They're not even attacking. Okay, now they're attacking.
Puck blinking back with what he can. Does get fungal with the majority of these forces. This is coming down to numbers, and Scarlett is starting to beat this back.
Yeah, the mothership core is going to go down too. So Puck has no option but to retreat here because the time warp as well used up all the energy. You can't recall anymore. With Ultras and Roachling on creep and Infestors that are going to get energy again, Puck has to make a better army here.
Well, he did manage to get this base up, which I do find actually quite good. Because one thing, of course, if you're going really gateway heavy, you're spending a lot of warp ends. That means a lot of money gets used up very quickly. And Puck has not really had a bank to work with so far this game.
Yeah, Scarlett has a really strong army with Ultras versus gateway units. Puck knows this through Observer over the army. So Puck has to decide, what do I want? What kind of units should I make to beat this? And for now, it's Immortals.
I mean, if this was layer tech, I think Puck could win this game. But I think it's because she's on hive. Like blink stalkers aren't going to cut it for much longer.
No, when you get fungoed and the Ultras and the Zerglings are close to your stalkers, it's when the Protoss player just says, "Oh my God, Zerg is so OP." But
yo, I just got
Puck is making a better army at least with Immortal Archon, which is really strong versus Ultras.
I kind of feel like the Immortals are just gonna get abducted though. Like she doesn't even have to take the fight, right? Like
yeah, well, the Vipers, luckily for Puck, are just getting started, so it'll be a bit before. I mean, Puck's gonna get maxed before the fight.
This Roach run by though.
Oh, the Roach run by. Oh, the one Immortal shows up in the nick of time.
Yeah, might be able to save this. Force Field could go down as well to lock this down. Third base in a little bit of trouble. He brings back the army to deal with this. I really like that Puck didn't over-dedicate to this, too. Look how much he left a majority of his army here at the 4th, knowing that this was going to be the real point of contestation. Yeah,
the rest of the army is a lot more mobile than the Roaches, and they're stronger, too, so...
Time warps go down, of course Ultras don't give a fuck about time warps. Pardon my French there. But the Stalkers are in this nice little choke behind the gateways. Ultras, of course, clumsy, horrible units to deal with this. Now the Immortals get in the front lines, and Puck should hold this.
But Puck has to not...
Wow, what?
Oh, the Ultras got blocked by Queens once more. Queens costing games usually. Well, no.
Oh no, it's still a scary situation to lose Ultras like this. But Scarlett's got, I feel, more leeway to lose units than Puck does right now. He just lost everything here at the 3rd. The Roaches are still up on hold position. She's doing a tremendous amount of damage to those probes. I mean, picking up quite a few so far.
All the Queens and some Ultras, not worth it. That was a good one for Puck.
I'd say the Queens are the worst part too, because it takes so long to get energy back up for transfuses. The Ultras you can just remake, but
when you have 200 energy Queens with Ultras, you're smiling. You're a happy player because that's 4 heals.
Right, but Puck's on that same clock he was last time with Deadwing. Like right now, okay, he's taking the ground fights, fantastic. Tasia clap, but I mean, if Scarlett gets to that point where she's got Broodlords again, Puck doesn't have the money to go for Stargates. There's no way he throws down 3 plus a fleet beacon. He can't afford it. Plain and simple.
I would say this game's a lot better for Puck at this moment, just because Raider Spire so far away from being done. Scarlett's been mining on 4 bases the entire game because the 5th has been knocked down. Now the other 5th, let's say, because he's relocating, is going to get knocked down too.
Right, I mean, like, Puck's in a good spot, but he's still in that same clock. Like, if he waits too long, if he can't push in to win, if the Broodlords come out. I know it's a lot of ifs, but I guess, as you point out, with the mining being disturbed, she is on a pretty low gas count. And building units like Infestors, Ultras, and Vipers all at the same time, that's going to soak up a lot of gas. It should have been Corruptors and could have been Broodlords.
Yeah, well, Scarlett's plan for now, for sure, is just to defend. Maybe do a run-by if possible, but you want to buy time for Vipers to accompany, or for the Broodlords to come out and join the Vipers, the Ultras, the Queens, the Infestors. Puck is actually maxed, so maybe he wants to make something happen here.
I don't know if he needs to feel forced into this, though. The Immortals on the front line as the Stalkers blink back.
Oh,
Blinding Clouds!
Cloud.
Oh, Blinding Clouds gonna wreck the Immortals. They can't get any damage down here to those Ultras. And then, of course, with those fungos, the Stalkers can't blink back. Puck loses so much of his army to this.
But with only a few Ultras out,
You know,
Scarlett does have to regroup, wait for reinforcements.
yeah, and this is a situation where I think normally in a PvZ we see the Zerg player with like a 3k bank, 4k gas type thing, but
Yeah, both players once again are macroing really well. They're spending all their money.
yeah, and they're both trading really efficiently in all these trades. No one's like coming out directly ahead of the other, but
Oh.
Transfuses were pretty much all exhausted in that first fight. There's not really a lot left in this. As these Ultras
Yeah.
start going down, this is less and less scary to deal with. There's a lot of empty energy Infestors and no energy
Oh,
Queens.
it's really close. But oh my god. Uh-oh. This base might die, because the Ultra's 5 at a time. Not out yet. This base will die for sure, unless Puck just wants to chase.
I like that he pursued the Queens instead of the drones here too.
Yeah.
Getting rid of those Transfuses is a big deal.
For sure. There's a few options there which Puck could have taken, like kill that base. But he can do it anyways. That's really good. So, chasing the few units, and then killing the base. Scarlett. Actually, Scarlett did take the other base, so at least she's mining some. But back home, the natural, pretty much mined out. Third's getting close. PP.
Ooh.
Now it's getting serious.
Needs to gather her wits. All that dancing has exhausted her.
Yeah. How can I dancing queen if I lose? Better not lose.
So, at this stage of the game, I know we're seeing a lot of Ultras. I would kind of like to see some Lings get back into this as well. With those fungal growths being as good as they have been, the damage would be really nice. Like, I'm not saying max out on Lings, obviously, but still throw a little bit more in to support the Ultras. Because right now, I don't think pure Ultras with a couple of Vipers, even with good fungals, is going to win Scarlett this game.
No, Scarlett was a bit too wasteful there when doing the roach run by to attack the 4th of Puck with the Ultras, but then lose all the Ultras and the Queens too upon retreat.
Yeah.
So I think what she should have done was just to defend on creep, because you know Ultras on creep, they're fast, they can get good surrounds. It's scary for Protoss or Turn to be on creep. And buy time for the Broodlords, because the Vipers are already out. You just need some Broodlords.
Yeah.
Just with how the game was going ever since the start, Puck did open for a really, really greedy Nexus gate into a 530 Nexus, which amplifies the strength of any push he does. So in the mid game, the amount of roaches Scarlett had to make really used up all the gas, because Scarlett was on low gas for the first 12 minutes of the game, and you don't want to trade all your gas for bad units like roaches. Or, I mean, use your gas and then trade armies.
You know, speaking of trading armies, though, I mean, I just more at the break screen here as they resume. I mean, look at the resources lost so far this game. Look at the actual units lost this game. It's kind of insane. And I made a joke about thousands of Lings earlier, but I mean, half of 1,000 is 514 Lings have been killed so far this game. This is, what, 65 minutes? I think that's too long. There you go.
Or 655 minutes. But yeah, it sucks if your hand is hurting, especially in a tournament. Cause
yeah, those wrist problems. I mean, even just observing. I'm not even playing hardcore. I know the burns. So I can imagine
you don't
playing
want to
times worse.
Damage your delicate fingers and joints and
your tools, man. Your tools of the trade.
Yeah.
Not my lucky hand.
It's unfortunate for that to happen anytime, but especially during a tournament. Because you can't just call it off. Like if you're just laddering for practice, you can be like, I'll do this later. It's
well,
now or
I mean, before we get too overcritical, I mean, there's
no,
a
I'm not
losers
being
bracket.
There's don't get me wrong.
no, yeah, you're right. I'm just saying, like, for Scarlett, if she loses this game because her wrists are bugging her, she's up 1 in this best of 3. There's a losers bracket to fall back in. Like, I just don't want Scarlett fans to panic because her wrists are bugging her. Like, yes, it sucks 100%, but
It'll
hardly
be bad
the end of her
to be in
life.
the losers bracket because you have to win more games.
Yeah.
which is not good if you're wrist turning. So let's hope if you're a Scarlett fan, you
know,
want her to win this now. So.
Focus on the game here. We see a lot of focus on trying to kill the queens, which I don't think is a bad idea. What I would like to start seeing some more feedbacks, though. I haven't really been looking, but I don't think we've seen many feedbacks this game.
Oh, Infestor died for free. But right now, there's no creep spread. Scarlett is down 50 supply. I'm pretty sure when Puck decides to move in, Zerg tears will be shed.
The feedback. The feedback.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
The Viper. You're just like, oh, cool. All my units ignored the one Templar that walked forward.
One Templar with, let's say, 150 energy just instantly kills 3 of your Infestors with full energy.
Yeah.
Just like, why?
I like that anyway. There's a lot of choice targets there, but he went for the Viper, and I like that a lot. Because the Blinding Cloud on that ramp before was probably what screwed him the most.
Well, this is going to be ugly for Zerg.
Yeah, feedbacks on the queens as well as we see go down. Feedback on that Viper. Scarlett has no tools to work with at this point. Stalker's linking to the back lines. The Ultras are numerous, but the Immortals should be able to hold strong here against us, especially with the Archon support.
Immortals are only half the cost of Ultras in terms of food, so let's not forget. And they're really strong.
Good game.
GG.
That was a great game out of Puck 2 compared to the way game number 1 went. So we are going to get game number 3, and hopefully Scarlett, maybe she takes 5 minutes real quick, do some stretches, whatever she needs to do, so she can be playing at her best for the last game.